Before we get into that, like I said, I'm really appreciative to have everybody here. This really just started as a film review service. I remember I did the first 10 for $100, and I was just trying to, you know, get 10 officials that wanted me to watch their game and give them, great feedback, and really kind of do the exact opposite of kind of camp, where camp is more 3-to-1 instruction or a large group instruction. I wanted to go right straight one to one. But my point is, that film review service really led me to the community that we have now, and the fact that we can break down a game and now have an audience as well to observe the session, and then also contribute to the conversation and help out. Fabio, who we're all here primarily to help, but I know everybody's going to help themselves by viewing and participating. So I just wanted to say that. Appreciate everybody. Fabio, while I'm pulling up your game, just give me a little bit of feedback on your report. How did your rewatch go with all of the notes?
No, the notes were spot on. I mean, there's obviously you brought up some things that I didn't realize that during a game that I was doing. There wasn't a lot going on this game. I've seen a few of your IPRs, and this game, there wasn't much going on. I mean, there was maybe two or three really, plays that I really wanted feedback on, and you hit those plays. But man, like I said to you earlier, the report was thorough as it can be. So it was definitely eye opening, and I'm excited to go over it with you, hear any feedback from the community, because ultimately it's about getting better, right? So
Absolutely.
I'm ready to get going.
Awesome. That's why we're all here. So, I'm sure most of you know kind of the format, but we'll just look at one timestamp at a time. We'll watch the play. I'll give my feedback. And, I don't mind if anyone ever wants to cut me off. Like, I'm good with that. I want you guys to participate. So feel free to cut me off at any time. I don't care. Right.
Same
All right.
here.
So what's up?
Same here, man. I can go off on a tangent, so somebody cut
Sure.
me off.
Listen, I know some people are here just to watch, some and that's great, but we want to hear your thoughts as well. All right, so 708. Let's look at that. Have a lot of cosmetic stuff in here, but it's all about mastering the fundamentals and the basics, and it's really all connected. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure we got no skipping. I know I do this every time. All right, 708 inbound. Okay, so your partner calls a player control foul. You're coming to switch, getting ready to inbound. So throwing mechanics, while awaiting the throw in, we want to hold the ball up like a waiter, look like that service professional, and also, let's focus on making the transition, handing the ball to A1 and raising your arm to stop the clock. This little motion of the handoff into the straight arm, I just think it could look a little bit more fluid. See right here, that little hesitation, and you're just kind of slowly handing it to him, right? Just hand the ball. What'd you say?
Simultaneously, at the same time, pass it over and get the hand up at the same time. Is that what you mean by that?
You just got to find the right cadence, but I just think overall the presentation there was a little rusty, I think. And again, we're breaking down all of the little things, right?
Hey, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Shouldn't we be bouncing the ball on that?
I don't think anymore. I think they changed that mechanic, but I believe a few years ago they made it your choice pretty much. The only time would be in the lead in the front court where you hand it off. So that's something that really doesn't matter, I don't think. I think it once mattered. All right, eliminate excess. What do we have here? Running and counting. This is really hard to look good doing. It doesn't matter who you are. So I always tell officials, It's okay to count in high school. First of all, when I ref high school, I don't do a 10-second count because in college we simply use the shot clock. So if I have a shot clock right above the scoreboard, I'm using the shot clock. I'm just not counting, right? Because it's more accurate. A robot computer is more accurate than us. Um, so that's something you guys might even want to consider. I know not everybody on the call is doing college, so you could be frowned upon, blah 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 blah. But ultimately, this is a better way to administer 10 seconds is by using the shot clock. But especially if you're gonna use the shot clock, or excuse me, if you're gonna do a hand count, we don't need a hand count when A1 is like sprinting up the court and we know it's gonna take 2 seconds to get up, right? Like I don't even think that I think that's unnecessary. I think you just need to focus on running at that point and getting into position. So looked like he was going to bust it down for a second. Right here, like I know you pretty much ended the count, but just take that guideline moving forward.
Yeah.
If you see the team A is moving up the court really, and especially if you have to like really run, then we don't need the count anymore. I
Yeah.
don't think.
That's actually like a topic of conversation at our board meetings, because we have a few guys in our association that do college and they never count in the backcourt. But obviously the assigner, and the executive board, it's like it's high school. This isn't college. So we, coaches and players are looking at you for the count. They're not looking at the shot clock. And in high school, the main reason why for us, we don't have a lot of, our tables really aren't, we might have maybe 2 or 3 good tables, that start the clock when it's supposed to. So sometimes shot clock doesn't start on time. So, I mean, the board is like pushes us to do that. But even in this game, Paul, later on down the road, down the game, I've heard that from you already. And there was times where I wasn't counting because there was no pressure in the backcourt. I mean, there was no, they got it up in, 3 seconds, so I'm trying to incorporate that. But if there is pressure in the back that they want the count,
That's great. That's great. That's great that they want that. The cool thing about this group is we kind of bypass a lot of the local talk, right? And
Yeah,
we're on a more universal level of officiating, and in doing that, we're also not worried about like people sharing their opinions of what they think we should do. And as far as like pressure from the board, there's no pressure about hand counts. It's just an irrelevant thing. I'm just want you guys to just trust me there. It's just local high school talk. I know I've said this before. It's not going to matter at the end of the day. Something like this. I know at 6:30 I said stop leaning.
yeah,
See over here. So if we're leaning, that's really telling us that we need to position adjust a little bit. And you also see how it's kind of like, I'm not going to call it unprofessional, but it doesn't produce our most professional look leaning over. Would you agree
right.
with that?
Yeah. So take that extra step right, get basically underneath the basket there. If I take that one more step to the right, I'm underneath the basket. So I mean, that's if I need to be there, that's where I got to be. Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. If like I said, if you're leaning this 6 inches, then just move 6 inches with your feet
Right.
because you're going to be in a better position if you have to position adjust after that because you're not going to position adjust while you're leaning really. You got a travel coming up here. I thought you looked pretty smooth on it. But remember one thing. Okay, maybe we a
Little
little
jump.
late to position adjust here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this. All right, so you're in trail. Ball's at right in the center line. Goes opposite. So as that 3-point player, when did you see that 3-point player cutting? As soon as you pick him up, that's like a trigger for us to also adjust because looks like he's about to get an open shot. So we want to position ourselves, dependably once we kind of get that instinct or, that's part of feeling for the game too, that feel for the game, knowing where the ball's going, knowing where the next shot is coming from, knowing which player is going to shoot it, knowing where they're going to shoot it from, all that stuff. And also, actually, I think we have the lead running to rotate, I believe.
Yeah.
Just not a fan of
Yeah.
at all because I think you missed the rotation, right?
Well, that's why I kind of hurried down a little bit because I saw the rotation. Initially, without looking at the lead, what I thought I should have done was just step into the court to have a better look. As that 3-pointer, as that white 5 is going to the 3-point line, but then I saw my lead rotating. So I started, I went down more. I mean, if you see right here, I noticed white 5 lining up for 3. And initially I was going to take a step into the court just to have a better look. And, but then I saw my lead going, and then I try to hustle down into position, with the rotation.
So ideally, we want to be where the coach is right here. If we can kind of do our lead up work to get us into that position. And I know it could be hard too when we have the lead who's although that wasn't a bad like rotation. It wasn't like he just ran out of nowhere and didn't stop at the B position. The problem with running to rotate is a lot of refs don't stop at the B position. And then if you do stop at the B position, there's no need to run over, because a lot of times you'll just wind up waiting, or then you can get over at the appropriate time. One trend I noticed with some of your calls is you're jumpy.
Yeah.
And we've all been jumpy before. I've been through all that, especially on travels and plays going the other way. And that's a trend that'll trickle into other areas. So we want to just slow that down. I thought you had really crisp mechanics here, but just that one little initial jump, we don't need it.
Yeah. And I noticed it more. I got a head bob. Where, for example, behind in the bench, the red bench, I mean, they're yelling travel, and I already see the travel, and they're yelling travel, and I'm nodding my head. Yes, I see it. I'm not saying it, but the natural reaction is like, yeah, I got it. So I did that a few times. It's a habit that I need to break, that I'm just, I'm going, no, you can't do that. That's a travel, or yes, I got the travel.
Got it. I know it. Yep, absolutely. I used to remember a ref who used to call his travels, used to say, no, 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 something like that. So I know exactly what you're saying.
I'm not yelling it, but I'm definitely like, I'm not, my head is going crazy at times.
Okay. Yeah, so that comes down to just slowing ourselves down.
Yeah.
Slow down, slow down. I want to have almost that stillness to us, but still look athletic and fluid, and like really tying those combinations together is great. 440 got a double whistle. Let's check it out. Remember to post and hold on double whistles, block charge plays. And another thing is we want to post and hold hold also means hold our stance.
Yeah.
And not show with our feet which way we're going, because it's a lot of times only refs just know, but the game also knows. If like you're walking the other way, we know you're going charge. If you're walking in, we know you're going block. So that can get us in trouble if both officials have conflicting calls. And then obviously we have a blarge, which is one of the worst things we could do.
Right.
Play calling wise, rule wise, is have like conflicting calls. Yeah, let's just take a look at you real quick after we said that. So on double whistles for block charge plays, it's important to post, pause, process, right? Post, pause, process, not show any movement. Give the lead the first crack at it, right? Your whistle. I mean, I understand you had a great look, but just knowing it's kind of entering, it's in the paint now. It's his primary defender. So just have a cadence whistle, and if the lead no calls it, then you come boop boop, and then go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else about that play? Anyone have anything?
No, man. I just wrote down, when I was looking at it, just it comes down to being more patient and just slowing down. I mean, that's basically. I mean, that happened, right after that travel call that I got jumpy. So I was in the jumpy mood, within those last 2 minutes. So I just wrote down, just be patient. That's kind of where I need to, my whole game, not just on judgment call, not just on, travel or block charge calls, just slow down,
Yep. So you're self-talking in that moment, crash happens. Instead of just going fist, just process. Okay, leads play, nothing. He doesn't have it. Boom, going the other way. And that's hard to do all the time. So if you can't do that, then you just do this. Boop. That's as simple as it gets right there. Just call a foul. See, we have a sprinting rotation there. I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to fast forward that part. .248, you got an N1. Do we like it? Do we like it?
I like
What'd you say?
I liked it. I saw more contact on the wrist. I know he might have hit the ball first with his fingertips, but he hit them. He hit the wrist. His hand, the shooter's hand kind of, moved in from when he got hit.
Well, let's not call him a shooter, though. Right? Let's not call him a shooter. Let's just, I know what you're saying, but shooter is jump shot. So different rules now on the hand to wrist for a layup attempt.
Oh, all right. My bad.
No, not at all.
I'm looking at the wrong one. I think it's the next one that I was thinking about. Yeah, this one. Yeah.
What'd you think of this one? Is this the one you're talking?
Yeah, that wasn't the one I was talking about.
Okay, so let's just talk about this one.
Yeah, this one's soft.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, this one's
Good.
definitely soft.
That's fine.
It hit him, but I mean, he definitely played through it. Wasn't even bothered by that hit to the arm.
So one thing that happens when we have multiple plays, like or simultaneous plays, right, or two plays at a time. Excuse me. We no call the first one, but then that speeds us up because the play intensifies.
Yeah.
Because now we have a second one. We got to put back. We got multiple players in the lane. We got everybody jumping for a rebound, right? I mean, it adds a little bit of pressure. So I thought that was a great no call, but then boom, cheapy.
Yeah.
We just no call both, and we're good to go.
When you have rebound, offensive rebound, put back, miss, I think everybody's anticipating a foul, right? A call, and in my mind,
who's everybody? Who's everybody?
Well,
the fans?
Again, right? No, yeah, I mean the whole gym, right?
Okay.
I mean that's a type of play where even as a spectator, you're seeing all that commotion, you're seeing all that movement. It's like there's got to be a foul there somewhere, and that to me that was a case of me trying to find something, instead of that finding me, I tried to find it, and I realized that afterwards, even at the time, I mean, he went up easily, it shouldn't have been a call. I did see a hit, but it wasn't significant enough, and it wasn't anything that, warrants a whistle there.
Yeah, I like that you said you're trying to find something, and to that I say we're not foul hunters.
I know.
Don't give me I know discouraged. I know this is all positive stuff. Like we're looking at plays that maybe we could have did something better on, and you're cataloging it, and then it's not going to happen again. That's how this works. So there's no discouragement at all. Let's look at your
the result of the basket doesn't count into anything, right, Paul? Like if he would have missed that, I'm not waiting for the ball to go through the hoop to hold to not call that. I mean, the significance of the shot going in really doesn't dictate a call there, correct?
This isn't one of those, if he misses, I got to come in late plays. This is nothing. So we're not going to apply that here, right?
Right.
Just a made layup and play on. I like your scored signal on the spot. I think it's a little low though. So maybe keep that same motion if you want, but just don't bend your knees and kind of lean over a little bit like we were talking about before. It's presented a little bit different because you're leaning forward, but I think it's a little bit low. Not by much. And I like the motion of it. So something to keep in mind. I think that hit signal, did you start to implement some of the tips I had in the video, and also not holding your foul shots above your head that far?
Yeah. I mean, after, I think one of my videos that I posted of play sharing, you had mentioned that before. So, in my head, I'm trying to remember to do that, keep her a little bit lower. You said that hit. I mean, how was that hit mechanic? I didn't get what you said about the hit mechanic.
No, I was saying, because I gave you some feedback on your hit mechanic. I was wondering if you implemented it or added that to your game, more of just the snap strike of the wrist or of the forearm.
Yeah, I know for sure. I'm trying to do that. If right now it's not muscle memory yet.
Okay.
Right. So it's just going to the table I'm having a little bit of a harder time going to the table because I'm trying to remember. Again, it's going to come naturally eventually, but I'm trying to remember to have all a proper, smooth, snappy kind of mechanic to the table. And I got too much going in. I got too much going in my head
Mm-hmm.
that at times I have a hard time even coming up with the number.
Okay.
Right? I mean, like 45, and one game I 21, and I ended up doing 12. So those are little things that it's not a muscle memory thing yet, and I got too much going in my head as I'm walking to the table. That is the toughest part right now for me is trying to, even at the table, slowing down because I got so much to.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell us any bit more on that? I know you've mentioned that before, where you were mentioning in reference to like all the information we have on Discord and Patreon, and trying to implement it all, and it was making you almost like try to do too much.
Yeah, yeah.
Reason for that?
Being a new member, I think maybe 2
Okay.
months,
Yeah.
1 month maybe. So there's a lot of content there, right? So I'm going through a lot of the stuff, and there's like a lot of things that I agree with that I want to do. So I'm trying to implement it during my season, and just simple things, just not simple, but just like the snappiness with the mechanics. I'm trying to remember everything, because I agree with a lot of the stuff. So I'm trying to put that into my game. And
So let me just stop you real quick. As far as the mechanics and signaling, that's simply practice. That's you on your own time, just practicing, and then you don't have to think about it. Then it becomes second nature. I'm telling you, it's just it
yeah,
becomes.
this practice, and believe me,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's it.
I'm in the shower, and you know, I'm I'm doing signals. I'm in my living room. My
There
girlfriend's
you go.
videotaping me, and I'm without a doubt,
Good, great.
practicing it. It's now I got to bring it to the game. It's nice in the living room, now you got to bring it to the game, and at that point, there's like still so much in your head.
Gotcha, man. Just one game at a time, one possession at a time. You're doing the right thing. You're in the right place. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. And it's hard. It's hard being new, being young in the game, man. It's a world. It's a new language. It's a new language.
Yeah. Hey, I think there's a play here, 203. If we're able to watch it, just want to get your opinion on something.
Okay, sure. What do we got at 203? Take us through it.
Like I anticipate, right? The ball is going to go there, to red 3, I think, and I knew the ball was going there, and I wanted to get to the spot first and be in a good position. So if you go back there, I'm trying to get underneath the shooter because the shooter is coming up, so I got to go down, right? So in my mind, I'm like, I got to get down. I got to get underneath him because he's coming up towards me.
Yep.
Right. So my worries was if I anticipate too quickly and I get down below him, it kind of leaves me vulnerable for a quick transition if for whatever reason the ball gets tipped or the ball gets stolen. If I get underneath him. So
Okay, good. I'm glad you said that, and that's not something we need to worry about.
All right.
Because you might get beat once or twice a game, and it's fine, and it's not going to happen very often. So it's better to have a better position on the current play than worry about being out of position on the next play that has a low probability of maybe happening.
So that shouldn't even cross my mind, right? I mean, I need to anticipate it and get.
Yep, right where the coach is.
Because right now I'm straight line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to get right where this yellow line is where you ideally, I think, should be on this play. That's where you should end up. Maybe a step below the coach. So once the ball enters the paint, now you kind of have to position adjust and say, all right, well, what's this player doing? He's not shooting because his back's to the basket. It looks like he's going to make a pass. Also, that's a trigger for you to say, all right, I have a player in my area who he could make a pass to. What am I going to do next? See right here. Okay, what's he doing? What's he doing? Maybe take a step towards him. And then as you see him turning and looking at this player, you got to be gone, right? We're not going to wait till he catches it. You have to know he's going to catch it. And once he turns and looks at him, and again, this is feel for
And
the
I
game.
gotta be aware. I gotta
Yeah.
be aware.
This is feel for the game stuff too, right? Where's the shot going to happen? So for you to show 2 or 3 athletic steps right there and a position adjust to get lower than the shooter would have looked excellent. See NBA guys do it a lot. I think it looks fantastic. You know, they don't walk like that to get and mark the shooter there, show the 3-point attempt. They're just 1, 2, 3.
Like side shuffling.
Side shuffling, absolutely.
All right.
I'm glad you made us bring that play back.
And then 153. Is there such a thing as moving too much?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm not sure if this play I'm moving a lot, but I feel when I'm watching video, I'm moving a lot, right? I'm trying to find the best view. I'm trying to get the best angle. And a lot of the times, as I'm making a call, a violation or a foul, I'm in movement, right? I'm not stationary. And I know you've said that in the past. You definitely want to be stationary. You want to be set, when you got a call, because, you moving, making a call, it's a little weak looking.
I don't think.
One thing here, Fabio, just about this, I think it's total kind of just like as well with the calls and the positioning. It's also with your with your optics and how you use your eyes and your eye discipline to get the matchups and kind of and self-talk what's in your area.
Right. That's something I need to do more is self-talk.
Good point. Good point, Will. I don't think you're necessarily moving too much on this play, though.
No, 153.
Yeah, no. Coming up right here. Pull up. Okay, maybe that excess movement at the end. Maybe just get to your spot and eye that play up and down. Like you're in your dependable position, jump shot goes up, you almost have your head looking down and then right up as the elites. Hey, Carmelo. Carmelo no calls the hello. You have a foul here. I wrote call what happens. I assume you're calling a trip. Okay, let's see what happened here. I assume you're calling a trip by the defender who dives for the ball, but this is not a block. Report a tripping foul for clearer communication. All right, so what were we about to say? Sorry, Faye.
Yeah, no, it was a kid that was on the floor on red, and as White went driving, basically tripped over the defender that was on the ground, and I called a block right there.
Did you call a shooting foul?
I did.
All right, tell us about that play.
Yeah, he was on his way up. I thought he got tripped. As a kid went diving for the ball, he tripped, White 5 as he was going up. So I called the block, and I don't know what I don't use a tripping mechanic in high school.
Do it. Use it.
Like right from the jump. Like I know sometimes I think we talked about, you do a mechanic with a hit, and then you go to the head to show that.
I've talked about not doing that. I've talked about only doing one. I understand it's not in the high school manual, but it's a very appropriate presentation of a foul here to show a trip. I don't understand why it's not in the rule book. That's another story. But I think we can show a trip. Also, a hit to the head is not in the high school rule book, which is ridiculous. That's something that we need to indicate. So I'm telling you to indicate hit to the head, telling you to indicate trip. That's all I gotta say, you know?
So as the mechanic, right?
Yeah.
Table, red 3, and then trip,
Yeah, like a sweeping tripping motion.
because that's not a block. You said, right? I report it as a block.
Yeah, again, this is nitpicking, right? But we also want to identify what exact foul it was, because
Right.
it is going to be helpful if we can really differentiate the different fouls. So if he what I imagine here, and then we get a little blocked off, but 2 is sliding on the ground and kind of hits his foot / ankle
Yes.
as he's shooting, right? And there's foot contact, so that's got to be a foul. It's not a legal defender; he's laying on the ground. So and then the player trips. So I'm cool with the call. I like the call. I think it's a good call, correct call. Just got to report what happens. Now take me through this. Was the coach barking at you as you were reporting?
Honestly, I don't. He obviously looks like he is. I don't remember what he said to me. I wasn't even paying attention to what he said to me. Again, that's the time where I'm going to the table. I'm trying to, in my head, I'm trying to get the right number. I'm trying to get the right mechanic. That's the problem I'm having when I get to the table. So he could be screaming and barking at me, and I just zoned him out because I was too focused on trying to report it correctly. We talked about this guy, in a conversation that you and I had last week, how he was nonstop in the first half. I think a part of me with this play, I don't think he knew what I called. I don't think he knew. I don't think he knew I was calling on a kid that was on the ground.
So what?
Right? No, I know. I mean, I think that's why he was barking.
Mm-hmm.
I think to your
Well,
point,
he clearly was barking, because look at his behavior now with
he
the coach,
he
right? I think that makes it obvious he was barking at you.
he wasn't
So
with the 60.
I like that you have the ignoring skill, but I think you're using it too much. Like I don't understand how you wouldn't hear the coach if he's barking at you. Like
I know, Paul, because I'm trying to go, like, there's so many things in my head as I report to the
okay.
table. I can't say that any more clear. Like going to the table for me over the last month and a half of the season. I mean, my brain was working trying to do things, smoother.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Connor has a question. Connor, take it away.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, Fabio said he didn't think the coach knew like what he called. I think if we go to the table and like you said, like show the trip mechanic,
Right.
and, like calm him down because he's gonna understand what you called. Like I had a play a few weeks back, like I called the foul, and the coach is barking at me, and I go to the table and white 5, kid jumps A to B, and then the coach understood right away like what the call was.
I'm really happy you said that, Connor. And that enforces why we're not going to nitpick about what's not in the book, and like being so pure to the interpretations of high school, where it doesn't help us in the game sometimes. And this is a good example. Connor said it perfectly. Like you show the trip or you show A to B, and it's already explaining the call before you, and it's preventing you from having to go explain the call.
Right.
Because you're providing that clear, like if a coach doesn't, hits to the head are hard to see. If you don't have the angle and a ref calls a hit to the head, you're like, what is he calling? You see it on film from a different angle. It's like, oh yeah, got it. So why not let everybody know that? You're not going to come up and show an arm hit. Then you're going to be very confused as a coach, player, viewer. Like, what is the call? There's no arm contact, so I don't know why he's showing a hit to the arm. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that sinks in on why we do these things.
Yep.
Hey, Paul, it's John. I stepped away for like 3 minutes. What is your table reporting for trip? What is the signal?
Sure. I'll just show you. So after you report the numbers, it's just literally a foot sweep from my legs are in a normal position, and I'm just sweeping across, just a sweep across. So a little bit different, different than the kickball signal. It's more of a cross.
Okay, very
That's
good.
That's just what I do. You guys see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
For sure. Pain tolerance. Something I'm big on, really big on. Being able to take a punch, which means we're being able to no call incidental contact all the way up to the line where it becomes illegal. And that's a hard thing to develop. And most officials probably struggle the most in lead when plays are coming at them. I don't know I don't know if that timestamp was correct though. Help me out here.
It was 7:15 was right.
Oh,
There's a lot-
great no call. Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good.
7:15 was right, but I think I
Oh, perfect. Yep. Good. That is a great no call. Great no call. Again, what we were saying before, it's a loud play. Look there's 5 players here.
Yeah.
5 players. There's no clear possession, player control of the ball. Arms are swinging. Contact. There's contact. It's incidental contact, but there's contact. And it's just, look, rip through, no call, good. How many refs would call that a foul, and it would be a cheap N1? So I'm really happy that you didn't call that.
Okay. And I blew a call right here, which at the time I thought it was a foul. I didn't call it. Caused my partner to call a travel on red. But I think I should have had a whistle there. I know it's not my PCA. If you take a look at it, but I had a clear view. I thought the defender bumped him.
Okay, wait, you're in trail, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see a travel.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So call the travel.
Nah, I like that's a no call.
Okay.
Agreed.
1000%. Because also look at where he passes. He doesn't want that called the foul. Because look what he did. He found somebody in the lane. I mean, that guy's not shooting it. I mean, he should have been looking at the basket, but that's a no call. It's a little bump, but the player then makes a play after that. That's where patience has to come involved. We can't just stop a play. We got to see what he's going to do. That play's not over. And plus,
Now, if he bumps him and he ends up on the floor, it's a different play, right?
I mean, it's always a different play if there's
Right.
a different, movement or motion or absorption of contact. It's all different. And also, you're going to stay away from that play because it is right in front of the lead. So, wait, were you saying that you should have called something earlier? Did he call travel? He called travel, right? So you're saying you should...
Travel. He ended up calling a travel. I thought it was a foul when I first saw it, but I stayed away from it because, he's going right to my lead. And he has a whistle there, so I laid off.
So John, to your point, now let's say he does travel after that bump. That becomes a different play, and we're not going to let a travel happen because of contact. So then that could be a foul, right? That exact contact could be a foul if it caused a travel or it caused him to go out of bounds or it caused him to fall. Could be a million different reasons why.
That's why I was like, I think I missed it.
I don't think you missed it, and I don't think the travel should have been called either. But you look at that play, that kid ends up with 8-2 or whatever, has the ball now in the paint with a chance to score, and we took it away from him. I mean, the crew did with the travel, and I think the no call is right. But yeah, I don't want to penalize a kid here for making a pretty athletic play with a little bit of contact.
Okay, staying out of trouble, 6:30.
This is the one that I was talking about earlier.
Okay, take me through it.
I saw contact. I saw more contact with the wrist than I saw with him touching the ball first and then maybe hitting the wrist.
So, yes, this is a shooter, and I'm glad we cleared that up. So, different rules apply. Just show me exactly show me what the contact looked like on Zoom.
So the defender comes in, right? He could have hit the ball, his fingertips with the ball. He could have. I didn't see it, but he might have hit it. I just saw when he came down, he hit the shooter's wrist and forced the shooter's wrist. If you look, I slowed it down, his shooter's wrist kind of went inside because of the contact, and the ball was, 10 feet short of the rim.
Okay.
So I mean, I was right there. I mean, I had no reservations on the call. I mean, I'm in front of White's bench, and I was I was sure as shit with that call. You know,
So you said before, and again, we're going to trust you. You were right there. You got the best look. We're watching on Zoom, right? So just take that for what it's worth. Did you say the ball was blocked? Because we have a concept of is ball before body or body before ball. Was this one of those type plays?
yeah, it was definitely. I did. You know, you had mentioned the notes that ball then hand. You know, if it hits the ball first, hits the hand, it's not a foul, right? I mean, if he's trying to block it, I didn't see a block. I didn't see any contact with the ball. I just saw him hitting, the wrist. He could have touched the ball with his fingertips, but there was a lot more contact with the shooter's wrist and hand than with the ball.
I'm glad you said hand, right? So, I mean, it's basically wrist down is a foul. This becomes the hand. So if you're
Right.
talking about hand-to-hand contact, that's not going to be a foul unless there's an aggressive follow through, unless he hits it from behind.
Right.
Does that make sense? Do you agree
Yeah.
with that?
Yeah, it's funny you say that makes sense. I was just watching the Michigan game, and the Hunter Dickinson got called for a foul for high-fiving
Okay.
the kid, like 20 minutes before he came on. It's funny you
Mhm.
say that, but that was different. I mean, I really felt he definitely hit him.
Okay. Well, we're not here to debate that play as
Oh,
much
right, no,
as
right.
not to say you are, but moving forward, just remember, like, hand-to-hand contact, high fives, I'm staying away from those.
Right.
I mean, you have to let the player finish his follow through, I think, that's a guideline right there. But if they meet up here, high five or hit some on this part of the hand, like, I'm staying away from it. Wrist here, different story. That's going to be pretty much automatic for shooting fouls.
So what about, you just said that, right? So if you go like this, so if it's high-fiving, there's going to be a noise, right? You're going to hear it, right? That doesn't come in
And how is that?
consideration.
No, it doesn't. How is the noise relevant?
Well, it just obviously, flash, right? I mean, sometimes you don't see a foul, but you hear a foul. That kind of mentality,
don't.
which
We don't, though.
Can I?
Someone hop in.
So yeah, this is David. So
David.
when I play, the reason why this is a lot of the reason why I don't go for it, but we always had the same refs and they would always call the same stuff. And when I played, players are really sneaky, and maybe this is probably pretty deceitful. But what I would do is I'd go up for a layup, and if a ref didn't have a great view on a play, I'd slap my own hand to make the smacking sound. And good percentage of the time they'd call a foul, even though I didn't get fouled. I fouled myself. Just being deceitful. Like, just because you hear a sound doesn't mean necessarily that it's coming from illegal contact.
Two things on that. Number one, David, I want you to share the play of you getting a call fouling yourself. I'd love to see it if you have it on film.
I do not film our game. Yeah,
but you're right. Players look to gain advantages.
Yeah.
In any way they can.
Absolutely.
There's one more point I wanted to make about what you said, David. What else did you say?
Oh, if the refs did not have a good angle with it, and I could see that, like if they say, for instance, if the lead was on the opposite side of me, I'm going to the right side and they're on the left side of the basket. Like, oh, he can't see that. Smack myself, he would call it, stuff like that. Especially if a player had his hands down a little bit trying to steal the ball or something. That's particularly when I would get those calls. I didn't get them all the time, but they work sometimes.
So Fabio, there's no hearing fouls. That's what I wanted to get at. There's no hearing fouls. We've all heard slaps. It means nothing unless you see illegal contact. Don't ever let a coach tell you, did you hear the slap? Yes, coach, I heard the slap. I don't know what it was. I have to see illegal contact. Did you see any illegal contact on that play?
On that play?
No, that's what I would say to the coach.
Oh, right. Specific, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, no. Throw that out, reffing for sound. We don't care about the slaps and the smacks. The sound of them.
Gotcha.
You got a travel play coming up. Travels, make sure they are obvious. Be 100% on them. What did we think of this one? %100 travel, or maybe could have left
Obvious.
it alone. What'd you say?
I said at the time it looked obvious to me. But slowing it down, I don't think it was.
Did you slow it down?
Yeah, I slowed it down after you mentioned it. I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, it's not 100%. After watching it, I'm not 100% that it's a
Cool.
travel.
Good. And remember, if we have to like slow a play down, slow a travel down 10 times and rewind it 10 times, then probably in real time going full speed, we should leave it alone. Okay, we got a foul in transition, 431. You show excellent court coverage here, as I think you correctly call a foul. What do you think of the whistle there?
Yeah, I think I got bumped. The defender turned his body, got bumped as White went up. I think I held it too long.
No, I like it. I think it's a foul. I think I'm questioning what you presented, not being a block. Remember, blocks don't happen in the air. So I would either go with a push on those, or if you want to get real specific, like what Connor said, A to B is something you could use there. But I would keep it simple and just go push.
Okay.
229, coaching management. Let's do it. Anything on this play that you remember as I pull it up, as I scrub? Coach seemed displeased.
Yeah, he's displeased the whole half. And my one partner was getting the brunt of it. He might have been, and he was complaining about me and my other partner, but my third partner was just listening to all.
He was just listening to it, you said?
He was just listening. That partner that was in the first half, just, the coach was in his ear, and my partner is deaf in his left ear. So he always gave him his left ear. It was funny. So we were trying to get him away from the coach in the second half. It didn't work. But yeah, the coach was very demonstrative the whole half, and I tuned him out. I really did.
I know, but that's one of the issues here is you're doing too much tuning out. Mm-hmm. Why are we tuning him out? Are we gonna let him say anything he wants and just tune him out? Just avoid him. We gotta tune in. I think we had a stoppage of play at 229. All right, so he's throwing up his arms, and this is something that he did a lot during the half. It was just like his body language was really bad. Oh my God. A lot of that. So there was a lot of that. So I just feel like as an official, one of the three officials needs to know his behavior for the half already. And he's doing shouting, he's doing pointing. We got to address him. I don't know if we had a timeout opportunity to address him, but he's talking to all three officials, probably one more than the other, but definitely maybe not you as much, right? You say you didn't have a ton of opportunities to get over there.
Yeah, I wasn't near him. I wasn't on any dead balls. I really wasn't in front of him, maybe once or twice a half, and he didn't say anything to me then. He only talked to me, and I only had a conversation with him one time during the game. He questioned an over and back that I missed, a backcourt violation that I missed. I knew I missed it, and he asked me a couple minutes later about it, and I said, "Coach, I missed that one." And then you can see him backing off. Okay, I'm just asking.
Remember, if he's talking to the crew, he's talking to you, and more officials need to adopt that, sense of great partnering Like we need to have each other's back like that. And I don't think we do it enough. So like I would be well aware this half that he was doing a number on my partner, and I would address the coach for my partner. Someone's got to have, the courage to do it. All right, let's look at the second half. Lot in that first half, huh? Anybody have anything?
Hey Fabio.
Hi, Ashley.
Hey, what state are you in? Because I was like, he going opposite table side like college men. I was like, I know he's not in Texas.
Massachusetts.
Okay, that explains it. Okay.
Yeah, so Ashley, one thing about being part of this group, you're going to see so many differences of the high school game based on like which state they're in. This is the most interesting part. Shiloh, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Did a game where there's a restricted arc, right?
Yeah,
Fascinating. Fascinating.
Yep. In North Dakota, they have two classes, A and B. Class B, they play quarters, 8-minute quarters. Class A, they play 18-minute halves. And shot clock is 35 in B, 30 in A, and they have the restricted arc.
Crazy. It's just very odd that there's one little area in America that has the same rule as college. So I was saying on this held ball, you see how you're jabbing your point like three or four times? So just one strong point and just hold it an extra second if you want to sustain it, show a little bit more strength, and then that's it. Just jabbing right there, jabbing. Again, it's small stuff. But what would look better, this, that, or one strong blast? White.
Right. Yep.
All right, we'll let it rock. 7:18, got to add a bounds call. Eliminate excess signals like pointing to the end line when a player steps out. You want to follow these steps. Stop the clock, point the new direction, and then indicate the spot. Right. So it was just a quick out of bounds play, and again, we want to show everybody where he went out of bounds. So our first thing that we do is we forget step one, which is stop the clock on all fouls and violations. We point right to the line. Then I think you pointed the new direction. So just boo, white. And then if it's something that you have to show a little bit more emphasis on, you just point to the spot hard. Like if this is one of those plays, and I know we've all had it, and this is probably one of the reasons why we do it, where a coach, he's out of bounds, or where did he go out of bounds? Right? Where is he out of bounds? And they're saying all that while you're stopping the clock, pointing the new direction. Where did he go out of bounds? Where did he go out of bounds? You just boom, blast the point. More of not like a normal indication of spot where it's just a soft point. That's where you do your directional point right to the spot. Like show a little oomph there. So that's an option for you on these type of plays. You guys know which plays I'm talking about? Cool.
Would it be all right to go back directional after you point to where he was out of bounds? Go back and point directional to where, exactly. So I feel like stopping the clock, direction, point to where he was out of bounds. I think it needs to be finished with another directional in that direction.
No, because you're already showing the direction. Step one, stop the clock. We have a violation. Step two, it's out of bounds. So what do? The direction, white ball. Step three, where's the ball coming in? Here's the spot. What did we miss? Why the need to point again?
Yeah, I hear you.
That's the proper protocol right there. So
right.
Just nail it every time. And again, overall, the reason why you did that is you need to slow down. We're getting back to that slowing down. When we don't stop the clock and we just do something a little bit too early, that's just the need to slow down. So patience. Hand count. What do we say about the hand count? Hand count is a little bit too long of a motion, I think, a little bit too swoopy. Just make
Yep.
it a little bit shoulder level.
It's more hinge at the elbow rather at
Yeah, I
the
like that.
at the shoulder.
I like it. Looking better.
I had a 3rd and 4th grade tournament over the weekend. I worked on that on the snap.
There you go. Always working on something.
Always left hand. It was a snap, and it was stopping the clock, calling the foul with my left hand because I'm
Good.
right-handed.
Mm-hmm.
So that worked out all weekend.
Yeah, man. It's a great time to do it. You know, building that muscle memory to be ambidextrous and try to call a foul or violation with the outside hand. You know, if you're on the left side in lead, if you're on the left side of the paint, you got a foul. Most times we're gonna, stop it with the outside hand. Again, this is a preference, but it's just something I recommend. It's not in the rule book. And I think it's pretty standard too. What do we got next, man? What do we got next? Foul, shot clock. Tough to see illegal contact on this play. All right, let's look at this. Play call. You get hit in the head?
No, he got hit in the hip. 44 hit him in the hip to hip, as he was coming out.
Did we need to stop it?
Yeah, I felt there was enough contact there to kind of put him off balance a little bit.
Was he really about to take that shot like that? Because that would make me say that's not a foul if he's going to shoot it like that.
Yeah, I wasn't. No, I didn't think about what his, what he was trying to do afterwards. I felt he was hit enough to warrant a whistle there.
Anybody have anything on this play? Feel free to chime in.
Looks like there's more of a foul if you look in the center of the key after the whistle.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Kid was on the ground. Yeah.
Oh, good pickup. Good pickup, Pat.
I thought that was the original. That's why I was wondering what was going on.
Totally missed this one. Tough to tell.
But I also was, if you look at, my stay here, I was, was killing a dead fish, multiple times, jabbing it instead of, coming down with just stay here, no shot, stay here.
I'm happy we're talking about the stay here because I definitely want you to use it. I don't necessarily think you need it for this play. If you're going to call a foul, maybe this would be just a wave off.
Or just
So
a no
just
shot.
foul, wave
Right.
off, no shot, point to the spot.
Yeah.
Stay here more for rebounding, more loose ball type fouls.
Yeah, I mean, I did the stay here motion thinking more of it it was on the ground, it wasn't a shot. So I, just doing the no shot signal obviously indicates that it's on the ground. It's not a shot. Minimizing it, right? Too much excess is not good.
Looks like 44 caught the worst of it.
Yeah.
I see. He definitely got hit. I see the hip contact you were talking about. I would think about letting this go, but again, you're working up your threshold for illegal contact and knowing when to stop a play. And, you were right there. You had the good angle, so we can move on. 258, we got eliminate excess signals.
Yeah, you've told me this numerous times.
All right.
No need to signal 2 shots. Just a habit I got to break.
This was on a basic shooting foul, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we don't need to watch it. Let's go to the fourth quarter. 6:48 double whistle. It's important to not show a preliminary signal on double whistles until both officials have held and processed the situation. Then the primary calling official should take it.
This was the charge. I was in the lead, and it was a secondary defender that took a charge, and I went into I blew my whistle, and then I saw the C out of the corner of my eye. He just flies right into my view. It has his whistle and goes into his, PCF call.
Here we go.
So I started going, and I saw him, and I stopped, and it was just ugly.
What do you think he had?
He always has a charge. He hasn't called the block all year. He'll say that to your face. Everything's a charge. But I had the same whistle. I had the same charge. But I see him running. I joked with him later on. I showed him this video. I told him, you got to stop skipping on the court because you got me distracted. He just laughs about it. But I was going to my call, and so I felt this was my whistle, right? Secondary defender. I felt it was my whistle.
Yeah. So here. As soon as you go behind the head, that's where I think you still need to be just holding your fist up and processing and saying to yourself, all right, this is he's running about 15 steps. I'm gonna let him take this one.
Right.
Like you got this one, partner. You just showed the whole gym what it was. I'm staying right here and I'm giving him the head nod. You got it. Take it. Finish it. Finish that play. Please finish it.
Oh, that's exactly what was going through my head. But I started going with the motion, and I just couldn't stop myself from continuing the motion of pointing, right? I knew it was his whistle. I know he was going to get it. And in my head, I'm trying to stop, but I couldn't. My momentum kept me going. I mean, I went slow motion, but it's kept me going.
But I don't want you to eliminate just one step, the point. I want you to eliminate both steps, the hand behind the head and the point, and just stay here. So when you have a crash in the paint and you hear double whistle, it's got to be this. Doo-doo, doo-doo. And that's why I'm always tweeting. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Okay, nothing. He doesn't have anything. Behind the head. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Oh, he's dancing. I'm just staying right here. You got it, partner.
Yeah, I didn't, and I remember this specifically. I did not hear his whistle, right? So at this time, we were still wearing masks. So
Okay.
sometimes the sound is muffled. You can't really tell sometimes if there was another whistle. So I couldn't hear his whistle. I stopped when I saw him in the corner of my eye. Right. So it was a visual to me. By the time, I didn't hear the whistle. When I put my hand behind my head, it's when I saw him flying, into the court. And that's when I couldn't stop my momentum from pointing.
I hear you with the mask. I just want you to try to have the awareness to know that your partner is now moving or doing something. That's just called that crew awareness, like knowing if your partner is rotating, knowing if your partner has a whistle, knowing the next position adjustment of your partner. Like in this case, just having the sense he's moving. You don't need to hear his whistle. You just see it out of the corner of your eye. He's moving. That means I got to stop. If he's moving, I got to stop. Your spidey senses. Let's go to 421. Remember, back to your push signal. It's a standard push-up. It's just a push-up. The push signal is a push-up, so just make it look like a push-up. Elbows are tucked. You have good form. Remember your PE teacher? He taught you the right way, how to do push-ups with good form.
Right.
That's like me now. I'm the ref PE teacher trying to work with everybody to have good form and do it correctly. What were you doing at the table? I know I said when you approach the table, it almost looks like you're pointing at something before you report the foul. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's something that our board, um,
I'm gonna have a talk with your board, but anyway, keep going.
it's because of the masks, right? Because tables can't hear us. Sometimes the tables can't hear us. So we indicate, we point to the bench to indicate who the foul is on. So if it's red, we're pointing to the red bench,
Okay.
just because of the masks.
This is a COVID exception, so then we don't even need to take it any further. I understand.
But even after we took up, a week later, we were maskless, which for the first time in 2 years, which was great. I still had the habit of pointing to the benches, even though I didn't have a mask. So that's a work in progress there.
All right, let's chop it. .352 freedom of movement. We got a ball handler who's getting bumped. So I just said, let's add a little bit more pop to your hand check. Did you get a chance to check out Coach D's court, the hand check video?
Yeah, a few times. Yeah.
Good call. Good. That bump right there, shoulder to shoulder contact. You could, yeah, you know what? You could even have reported a push there too, because it was from behind.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think a push probably be the most appropriate call. But
And I was too low with that, right? I was too low with the push.
Well, you reported a hand check.
Kind of soft.
Yeah. I mean, that's the, again, this is the gray area of the game I'm trying to teach you guys. If you look in the rule book, the signal, right, it's down by your hip, and it's just, very, very simple and soft. So all I do is I raise it up a little bit, a few inches, and then this gets you a little bit more extension, and it could look more like a one-handed push, which I think ultimately is going to make us look like a stronger, better official, which will get us more respect and more trust and more believability and all the things that come with that. So chest level started here. It's almost like you're pulling, again, one-handed, one-arm push-up. It's the one-arm push-up. It's up with your hand on top of it. Just finish it all the way. It just looks a million times better than what's in the book.
Yep. Yeah, I need work on my charge call, my PCF call.
What do you want to work on?
I need to find a better rhythm. It's similar to my N1 where I'm kind of crouched over a little bit. I lower my body and I'm all one-handed. I got the one-handed foul behind the head point. It doesn't look good.
Got about 3 plays left, guys. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Next stamp is 3 minutes, player control foul. Correct call is a defender establishes a legal guarding position and gets displaced by A1. I think we can tweak your PCF to look more fluid and smooth.
Yeah.
What could we tweak?
Just slowing it down.
Okay.
I mean, slowing it down, taking a step, opposite hand, head. I mean, that's what I'm working on now on that call is outside hand, taking a step, and then opposite hand behind the head, and then forward.
What do we, did you rotate? It looks like you rotated over. What do we think of this rotation?
Yeah, I got there too late.
Okay. You know, guys, I'm telling you, officials rotate too much in the lead, on the high school level and even on the college level. So don't feel like you need to be in a rush to rotate and lead. Be confident that you could ref on the weak side. And that you're not we're in a rush because we think we're missing something. We're gonna miss something. We're gonna miss. We gotta rush. When we rush, we make poor decisions. All right, let's take a look at this call one more time. You also lean a little bit over. I think you lean forward, stay tall, stay big. Let's look at your eyes, actually. I want to make sure you're picking up this defender as you rotate. You know, one thing.
I was late with that too.
So this is another good point. When we're rotating, remember to stick with the players that are in your primary, you know, not watching the ball. And that'll include walking by players that you are responsible for. So what does that mean? That means you got to now open up your hips and turn with them and keep your eyes locked. In this case, we had a player in the paint, so he should have been watching the player in the paint the whole time as he did a brisk walk over and still turned his body to square up. Keeping your eyes on 14, 14, 14 while you turn right there. So it's not like a reaction and you have to find out the last minute.
Yeah, the defender caught me by surprise. I remember thinking that in my head that I didn't pick him up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so when we rotate and lead, remember to open up to the players that are in the paint.
Yeah.
If we have a matchup there. All right, last play, holding foul. Good cleanup foul as you are in a dependable position to see the point of contact.
The only note I have down is I think I probably should have came in a little harder with the call, with the whistle. Like, you know, go to the spot, come in a little bit harder.
Okay.
Because you might, you know, people not, you know, I called the foul, but they might not know what the foul, because it was a little bit hidden. Like, not too many people could have seen. Not that it matters, but, you know, I had a great view of him being tugged from behind. So
is this the play?
Yeah, this is the play,
okay.
Right? 212.
229. Maybe I just didn't comment on this one because it looked like 100% hit to the arm. All right, that hit was a little bit better. Remember, just lower it a little bit to, I think, shoulder level.
Yeah.
Instead of up here.
Yeah, I know. 212 is what I'm talking about.
Okay. What I got to do to get some coffee from you? Send me some Dunkin' Donuts flavors.
When I see it, you're gonna be at the Rogers tournament, Roger Ayers tournament, right? I mean, the camp.
You get a lot of free coffee?
It's where I had 6-7 cups a day, man. Kidding me?
Get out of here. Really? Yeah, I would probably do the same if I worked there.
I drink a lot of coffee.
It's delicious.
Too much coffee.
All right, let's take a look. Good position adjustment. Good no call. Okay, I like that. You know, the center is going to see that contact, so definitely that's your primary as it happens like behind the player. Lead looked a little stacked, so definitely a good call by you. That was your last whistle you had. So, overall, great job. I think we hit on a lot of great points that I know you could just start to insert. So any game you're doing, no matter the level. And the off season is really, really where we can improve and get better and work on a lot of these things we're talking about tonight. So that was great, man. What do you got? in closing?
No, I appreciate it. I mean, a lot of eye-opening things. Mechanically, I thought I was, obviously, I think mechanically I've improved over the year, but still a lot of room for improvement. With that, I got to work on my patience, slow it down. I think if I do that, I think everything else will kind of flow better.
Yeah, and I want to help you get rid of all this pressure you're feeling at the table too. And having too much thoughts in your mind and overthinking. So start to put that out in the atmosphere. It's going to get easier, and one thing at a time. And no, that was good. Ashley, do you have any follow-ups or any questions from our session?
No, I was just very confused. I was like, man, he's going tableside. He's going away from tableside like college men. I was like, okay, yeah, he's not in Texas. But no, I mean that's very, very different than, different state, different rules too. And like how you said, like Shiloh, Shiloh has a restricted area. It's like if we had that here in Texas, I mean that's something new because we don't have a shot clock. I think we're supposed to be getting a shot clock this year in Texas this fall.
Okay.
So that'll be something new because for us they're saying it's only going to be like some 6A schools. So it's not even going to be everybody. So that's going to be kind of weird. But
should make the game better.
I think so because like I don't know about like where you guys are from, but down here we have a lot of coaches that they'll just hold the ball for like a good like 2 minutes of the game. And it's just it's very like kind of annoying because like man, it's like I want some action, but I mean they just like to slow the game down. So
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
Well, thank you for coming tonight. It was great seeing you, and I hope to see you next week.
I'll be here next week. I'm not doing it.
Awesome. Love having you. Shiloh, how do you anything from that session you want to say?
No, I just want to thank Fabio. It's awesome that he gets out of his comfort zone and allows the group a safe environment for him to show his game, so you could give feedback and then us to give him feedback, bounce things off of him. But I think he's doing a fantastic job. So.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks for saying that, Shiloh. John, anything? Connor?
Yeah, Fabio, nice job, buddy. I think you are way closer than you think, and I'm excited to see you at camp, and hopefully we can learn together.
Absolutely, man. Looking forward to it.
And Connor, anything before we go?
Yeah, I would just say the same thing that John said. I think you're real close, and just work on slowing down and keeping a good presence out there. And I think that'll help you out a lot.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, man. You guys have a great night. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Y se